to be fair, everyone crassly fundraising off of everything isn't really either a new or a uniquely Republican phenomenon. Joining me now to look at all of this, Howard Fineman, editorial director of the Huffington Post and MSNBC analyst, and Robert Costa, back with us, national political reporter at the Washington Post. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Robert, the House is on recess next week. Do you think the Dems are just trying to drag this out until after they return?
I think Pelosi is trying to wring some kind of concession out of Boehner. They're unhappy with this process. They think there's already a flurry of investigations on Capitol Hill. But I think ultimately some Democrats will sit on this panel, mostly for the reason that they know Hillary Clinton is likely to be called. And as she looks toward 2016, I think they want to be there for her in that room to defend her.
And Howard, do you think the names that we've seen coming out of the Republican side for this committee tell us anything about the tenor of the dialogue going forward?
Absolutely, starting with the chairman, Trey Gowdy. I wrote a piece for HuffPost about him. He comes out of the heart of the country of the modern Republican Party, which is upstate South Carolina. He comes out of the tradition of suspicion of the federal government that goes all the way back to 2 centuries, to John Calhoun, that goes through Strom Thurmond, that goes through Lee Atwater, that goes through Jim DeMint. He's a Tea Party guy. He's got inside moves, but he was elected in 2010 after challenging a sitting Republican incumbent. He's Tea Party, and he's aggressive, and he's an experienced prosecutor, and this is a trial in his mind, and they're going to put this together with the continuing investigation of Lois Lerner of the IRS, and this is almost an act of political cocooning on the part of the conservative Republican base. It's partly strategy, but it's also psychology for them. This is what they feel good doing. And in a low turnout midterm election, I think the Democrats need not to automatically assume that it won't work, because it's going to gin up the Republican conservative base big time.
It's funny that you mentioned his background as a prosecutor, because actually on our air, he was on Morning Joe earlier in the week, and when asked about this, he used the term trial instead of hearing, which I thought was an interesting slip. Robert, what concessions do you think the Democrats are trying to get from Republicans? Nancy Pelosi says she's waiting for a call back from John Boehner. Why does she need a call, and what is she hoping to achieve here?
Well, what some House Democrats are talking about today is they would like to have some type of participation in the subpoena process in terms of managing that process and having a say. But that's unlikely. Republicans have the majority in the House, and they want control over that. So I think Pelosi's also just looking to see who actually wants to sit on it. I think she's trying to buy time.
And we heard just moments ago, of course, about the reaction of Mitt Romney to the latest news out of the Benghazi hearing. He was talking about the scandal about alleged fundraising off of this, actually coming out of Trey Gowdy's camp. What do you think of his significance in this fight, Robert? Is he still a big player? Because, of course, he was one of the first to actually try to link the administration and alleged wrongdoing by the administration to the Benghazi attacks.
I think Romney reflects the position of the Republican establishment, and you've seen Boehner and others who are in Romney's circle politically. They've been a little wary of this NRCC fundraising, but ultimately they know that within the current state of play on Capitol Hill, where you have the president doing executive orders on one hand and Republicans very into looking into oversight and health care on the other, Benghazi is a key issue for them in the midterms, and if they raise money off of it, this is something, well, they're on it, and that's what they're going to tie to their political efforts as well.
And Howard, he made some big news about domestic issues too when he talked about minimum wage earlier. Take a listen to that.
I, for instance, as you know, a part company with many of the conservatives in my party on the issue of the minimum wage. I think we ought to raise it because, frankly, our party is all about more jobs and better pay. And I think communicating that is important to us.
Howard, that took a lot of people aback. Do you think that that could spur a trend? Do you think more Republicans will get behind that?
No, I think he's saying it knowing for a certainty that it's not going to happen. And I think that the way the Republicans are pushing their strategy right now undercuts what Mitt Romney said on the minimum wage. His sort of blessing the Benghazi IRS strategy, the sort of strategy of investigation, the politics of subpoena. I mean, that's what they're going to talk about to the extent that they can. It's going to be a huge theme because in midterms, Getting out your base is what it's all about. And that's what Trey Gowdy from the sort of home state of the modern Republican Party is aiming to do. And people like Karl Rove, but believe me, Romney and Rove and the whole rest of the establishment are in on this strategy big time.
Right. And you say Trey Gowdy getting out the base. There was that fundraising email. It was, of course, targeted at fundraising for Gowdy and others on the committee. It wasn't from his camp specifically. We'll see how much they get into the game.
Ronan, Gowdy has to say, he's the chairman. He's got to say, oh, no, this isn't about politics at all. He's the chairman of this special committee now, so he can't say that. But everybody else around him is going to say it.
Right. He certainly, he made that it's not a circus comment. It's what we would expect. But I think everyone agrees. We hope that it comes to some truth. We'll see how that plays out. Howard Fineman and Robert Costa, thank you for joining. And